Welcome to Blinded by the Item. Today we have guest Paul McGuire-Grimes in the studio with
Thanks
us.
for having me back.
Yes, Bradley is on vacation. He's on a cruise right now for his birthday. And so we've had some wonderful guests in the studio. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about Paul, he has so many celebrity interviews. Paul's Trip to the Movies is your YouTube page.
Yes. Just go and click that subscribe button. Paul's Trip to the Movies. Tons of celebrity interviews, movie reviews, TV reviews.
He's basically a film critic, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
TV, I mean, he knows everything. When it comes to trivia stuff, he's just nails everything. We actually need to tell him to slow down a little bit. No.
I know what my celebs are getting up to behind closed doors.
Yes, so follow him and you will love all of his celebrity interviews. Yes. Okay, let's talk a little bit before we get into blind items about something that's going on with Justin Baldoni. The latest is Brian Friedman, his attorney, is not happy with Stephanie Jones' attorneys. Her lawyers basically went on extra with Billy Bush, and they're fighting back. If you don't know who Stephanie Jones is, she was Justin Baldoni's publicist, and she ended up, what is thought is that she leaked all of those texts to the New York Times. Then she had assistants who were trying to leave her company. So there's texts from them talking about how they were going to steal all of her clients. Either way, Blake and Ryan seem to have filed these subpoenas to get these texts, but they didn't name anybody in it. So it was sort of like there's one document that people have found where early on, they're basically subpoenaing all these, that's such a weird word, subpoenaing all of these people for their text messages. But people are questioning, did Stephanie Jones know this? And they're just getting around her leaking these texts by saying you're being subpoenaed and then using them in that New York Times article.
This is messy.
It's messy. So now Brian Friedman is firing back, and they're going to take legal action against Stephanie Jones for saying this. So it's also added into this is the company that asked for these texts and put through the subpoena is Van Zandt, which is,
what's a Van Zandt?
Van Zandt is Ryan Reynolds' company. So they created a company, essentially. I mean, it does other things too, but this is definitely, but it was just Van Zandt started this lawsuit and did these subpoenas. But that is Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So all of this shady business where Blake and Ryan were trying to take down Justin Baldoni. I mean, it's kind of like a smoking gun that they started it. And then they started it through this woman who leaked the text messages. So Wayfarer's mad. Brian Friedman's mad. I mean, it's just, it doesn't look good for Blake and Ryan, though.
No, I don't think that any of this has looked good for them.
No.
And I want to bring them up because we actually had them out in public yesterday, and we
That's
have a blind item
100.
about this. So we will actually talk about this slightly here, but they had the Time 100 gala yesterday. Not only did they were they on the red carpet and did we see pictures of them, she had a speech, because let's not forget, she's a Titan.
Oh, that's right. She had a speech about her mom.
And in her speech, she talked about her mom. She also made some not so subtle comments, including the fact that she says, I have so much to say about the last 2 years of my life, but tonight is not the forum. And then she went
Don't even bring it up.
And then she
did.
And then she went on during her 6-minute speech to thank every man, including my sweet husband, who is kind and good when no one is watching. And then she went on to say, how we use this platform matters, who and what we stand for and what we stay silent about, what we monetize versus what we actually live matters. There's a lot of not so veiled shots in that speech.
Yeah.
But he's your husband.
Yep.
I would expect him to do all sorts of good things behind closed doors that no one sees. My husband does all sorts of things behind closed doors that are good things that people don't see.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Whenever you better put that cart back at the supermarket because no one's watching.
Yeah.
Don't just leave it by your car. That's a good example.
Yep.
Mike's like, I don't know.
I thought you were talking about an Amazon cart that he filled up with stuff for me. I don't know.
That too.
And I might just be living in the tabloids, but I feel like a few of those shots are not actually referencing her husband,
of course
and of course are actually referencing how he might compare to one Justin Baldoni. So I don't know.
And then she did bring up her mom and what her mother went through back in the day with some sexual harassment at her workplace, and how she heard another woman talking about it. And so that made her feel strong. So she was praising herself at the same time, saying like, because of me, other women, will feel strong enough to come forward. It's like, we know what you're doing.
Messy.
Yeah, it's messy.
So there you go. We haven't talked about those two for a while after they were all we talked about for basically 3 months straight. So that's cool.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of an update. Let's get into some blind items today. Let's roll through them and see what we can do on this Friday. We'll begin with this one here. The number of people speaking out about this fired comic universe villain is growing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And no, not that one we talked about yesterday.
What?
At some point, it is all going to catch up with him, and it is going to be awful. The number of people speaking out about this fired comic universe villain is growing every day. And no, not the one we talked about yesterday. At one point, it's going to all catch up to him, and it is going to be awful.
So the one we talked about yesterday was Jonathan Majors.
That is correct.
Not Jonathan Majors.
It is not Jonathan Majors.
Is this a DC? Okay, so I got to narrow this down.
Number of people speaking out about the fired. And actually, let me be fair. It is actually both.
So he does both Marvel and DC.
A fired DC and Marvel comic villain.
Okay.
And was he fired from a comic book project for those roles? Okay, so it wasn't another role that he was fired for.
Well, I'm sure he's been fired for other roles, but no, the one that's they're referencing here is the villain. The number of people speaking out against this fired both DC and Marvel comic universe villain is growing every day. And no, not the one we talked about yesterday. At some point, it's going to all catch up with him. It's going to be awful.
It's not like the Shazam guy.
It's not the
Zachary Levi.
Not Zachary Levi, no.
Okay.
Not Ezra Miller.
Nope.
Okay.
And again, I think there's villain.
Villain.
Heroes.
I know. This is why I'm kind of just thinking
Jake
about
Gyllenhaal.
Shut your mouth. Take his name out of your mouth. Oh, how dare you? Rude.
Okay, fire.
Okay.
Let's ask more about the firing.
Okay, let's think about. Okay, so was he a villain in both franchises?
Yes.
Oh, is it a Josh Brolin?
Nope. That was very.
Do we know he's been fired?
Yeah, he no longer has the role.
Okay, but it's not because of bad behavior.
Some might argue it. No, I think it was just by bad reception of the movie. Yeah, it wasn't received
bad.
well.
Okay.
And let's just be fair, he wasn't the only person we've seen in this particular role. So it's kind of a revolving door right now.
Is he also in a Broadway show?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Who are you referring to?
I was thinking of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Excuse me, please.
Again?
This is egregious. My boy does not.
I don't know. Does it have anything to do with Venom?
It's not a Tom Hardy.
Okay.
Although I guess one of his characters eventually, I think, teamed up with Venom.
Oh boy.
God.
Obviously, the one on the Marvel side.
That's so a Spider-Man.
A Spider-Man
villain.
Jamie Foxx.
Green Goblin.
The movie was so poorly received, we didn't see any more of him after this version.
Oh, not Mickey Rourke.
Okay.
Not okay. So poorly, Madam Web.
You're in the right Sony universe. The Sony Spider-Man.
Okay, Craven.
No.
Oh my gosh.
You're almost there.
Well, there's Venom, Craven,
and
Madam Web,
and
Sleepy, Dopey, Doc.
Why am I blanking on these bad movies?
I love it.
He was a much bigger role on the other side of the street.
Is he a foreign-born
No
person? Okay, he's okay.
Oh my gosh.
He is pretty talented. away from acting as well. He's a pretty decent singer.
Oh. What are these other Sony movies? That's Spider.
What other Sony Marvel?
I know. I'm
villainish.
Really.
Jason Momoa.
Nope.
Sorry, he's never been a villain. Ben Affleck.
Craven. It's Madam Web. Venom.
Tells you how good this movie was.
Channing Tatum. No.
I'm
just saying
I know.
words.
Why am I so blanking on this? This is terrible.
Actor / musician.
Yeah.
Musician. Mostly known as a musician?
Nope.
Okay.
And did he go up against Spider-Man?
No.
Okay. He was supposed to.
He had the movie and then he was supposed to, I believe, and I think they scrapped it all because it was all so terrible.
Oh.
Right. Because this is like they were going to do the Sinister Six thing.
Exactly. He was going to be one of them.
Oh, you're on to it. Come on.
I am, but I'm really just.
He was a much bigger villain on the other side of.
In the DC universe, he was a much bigger
biggest
villain
on the DC
Joker.
side. Yeah.
Oh. So it's not okay. There was Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Jared Leto. That's who I was trying
He,
to think
of course,
of.
was.
Not Jake Gyllenhaal.
Also Morbius.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
See, I confuse those two sometimes. I was trying to say Jared Leto, but I said Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes, he is a singer. You're right about that.
Yeah,
yes,
30 Seconds to
Morbius was a
Mars.
thing.
Yep.
Wow. And he was Joker for 5 hot seconds.
Exactly. He was apparently fired from that role. Or, I mean, not apparently. He was fired from that role. But according to the blind items, the number of people speaking out against Jared Leto continues to grow every single day. And at some point, it's going to catch up with him. And it is going to be awful. I think this is on the heels of another report of some just not great behind the scenes behavior.
This before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he, okay, we're not going to go there because it's just speculation.
Well, I can tell you that Jared Leto
is not Jake Gyllenhaal.
He isn't, but they're both like have similar looks, right? They have like blue hair and dark eyes, blue eyes and dark hair. When I was on the Ozfest tour, Jared Leto at the last minute filled in for a band who couldn't show up with 30 Seconds to Mars. And we were like, what a great guy. And he really was a great guy.
Yeah, he seems like it. I've
really
interviewed
nice.
him once before and he was very nice. I think there's this intensity about him, like in his acting approach that Jake also has. They both have done Marvel. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
If I was Jake Gyllenhaal and I woke up and looked like Jared Leto, I'd be disappointed.
Oh.
Yeah, I would cut the hair. He has an amazing body. If we're going to go down that rabbit hole, Jared Leto does. It's very toned and ripped.
I think Jared Leto is hot.
Yeah, he is.
Cool.
He's very good looking.
Okay. Well, now that we have that established.
Now that we all got our types figured out.
Thanks for that difficult one.
Nicely done. Yeah, we got there. The reason, let's move on to another one here. The reason the talk show host seemingly was confused and dumbfounded by the question about a former star from the Southeast is because he knows that lawsuits are on the way and he's been advised not to speak about her. The reason the talk show host seems so confused and dumbfounded by the question about a former star from the Southeast is because he knows there are lawsuits on the way and he's been advised not to talk about her.
I have guesses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is this an Andy Cohen?
Yep, that's the talk show host.
And is it a Nene Leakes?
No.
Oh, I thought maybe there's questions about her coming back to Atlanta.
It's It's another.
I know who this is.
And who is it?
This is oh my gosh. Twirl. Kenya Moore.
There you go.
Okay.
That
Nicely
is
done.
Messy.
According to the blind items, the reason why Andy Cohen was so dumbfounded and seemingly confused when asked about Kenya Moore is because he knows there are lawsuits on the way and he's been advised not to speak about her.
We decided not to watch the current season of Atlanta. And this storyline came about when they were filming this portion of the show because Kenya was supposed to be a housewife this season.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts the season and then gets into some big trouble.
Yeah, she posted a bunch of photos of like sexual stuff.
Yes.
About one of the newer cast members.
He was opening her hair salon, Kenya Moore Hair Care, and then brought in big billboard, like not billboards, but like poster boards
of a sexual
acts of another new housewife.
Yes.
Like, number one, why would you ruin your store
own
opening with this garbage? 2, you literally got yourself fired from the show because of this.
Mhm.
Kenya's always been messy and not been my favorite housewife, and this just took it over the edge. And she's claiming to be the victim in all of this.
How?
I don't know. It's just,
But
it's
I
a
was
poor
shocked
look.
when it said
It's
that
a
she
poor-
might be coming back.
I think there was maybe an invite originally for the reunion, and then it didn't happen.
Okay.
Or they uninvited her to the reunion, and now she's talking about it.
Okay.
It's so low and messy, and you have a daughter. Why would you do this?
She's-
And like, your daughter will see this eventually.
Yeah, she is always one of those who it's like interesting on the show, but she goes too far. She's one of those that goes
100%.
too far. Right.
There you go. You guys got that one nicely done. And that is maybe why he was very careful and selective in his words when he was recently caught up by with paparazzi asking questions about Kenya Moore.
Or did
Okay.
he have them come out
Well,
to talk to him?
Of course.
There's that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the call comes from inside the house.
Correct.
Let's move on and do another one here. This foreign-born A- list few-time comic book actor. Oh boy, I hope this goes better than last time. This foreign-born A- list few-time comic book actor was a shoo-in for the big role. But much like his social media, his overbearing spouse wouldn't let him do it without being very heavily involved, which is why the fellow foreign-born A- lister who broke out on a streaming show is actually going to be the new guy. So let's run through this again. There's a foreign-born A- list few-time comic book actor. He was a shoo-in for a big role. Much like his social media, though, this guy's overbearing spouse wouldn't let him do anything without being heavily involved, which is now why a fellow foreign-born A- lister who broke out on a streaming show is going to get the new job.
I think I have an idea. I'm just going to throw out the first one as Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yes. Bond.
Okay.
His wife is Sam Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
You're getting them all. Now we just need to figure out the last step here. But so I'll fill in with what you got so far. Aaron Taylor Johnson was a shoo-in for the role of Bond, but much like his social media, his wife would not let him do it without being heavily involved, which is why this fellow foreign-born A- lister who broke out on a streaming show is actually going to be our next Bond.
Oh.
Is it Richard Madden?
No.
He would be a great Bond.
He would be.
a great Bond.
Wow.
And he's done a couple streaming shows, Bodyguard, which I never watched, and then Citadel on Prime.
Yep. He's been in the talks.
Yep.
He's been in the mix.
I think he's wanted it really badly too.
Is he also foreign born? Like they're going to pick a Brit.
Yes,
Yeah,
gotta
so-
be British.
Okay.
Yep. So the last part of it, which is why this fellow foreign-born A-
fellow
lister who
foreign.
broke out on a streaming show
Oh,
is going to get the gig.
not Joseph Quinn. Okay.
He's too young for it.
Yeah.
But is it a Mac show?
It is a Max show.
Is it a White Lotus?
It is a White Lotus.
Okay.
Oh.
Will Sharp?
Nope.
Ooh, that would be great.
Oh, the one you think is so hot, Theo James.
Yes.
How are you
We-
calling me out about that? The one
Oh,
you think
please.
is so hot.
You
What
talked
everyone
about it
thinks
so
is hot.
much.
To be fair,
Give
it's
me a
Theo
break.
James.
Yeah, I did.
You
Sorry.
talk about him like I talk about Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of a bad character. And maybe that's why it's like you're a bad boy.
You're attracted to bad boys?
Yeah, but not dirtbags like Donna
Well, no.
Valentine.
Oh,
I know she's
Ooh.
listening right now. Hi.
oh
No.
Val.
I've gone down the dirtbag road before in my early years. It's
I
just
think
like
there is something very attractive about dirtbags.
You
I was
know.
like just thinking about this. Like, God, you're hot, but you're kind of dirty. I'll get back to you.
We have
please
got
put it in the comments when you think of it.
we've got a new leader in the clubhouse when it comes to who is going to be our next James Bond, and
So-
kind of out of nowhere.
Theo James.
Yeah,
No,
'cause
James.
I'm big into odds and Vegas odds and looking at where things are going. Theo James was not a name that was on the top 10 list for a very long time. And he has, ever since the Amazon takeover of the franchise, I thought this meant Henry Cavill had a better chance because they're going to just go for dollar signs, big box
Yeah,
office.
well,
You can bring
I
it
mean,
in.
God, please. I wish that would happen. But they say he's not young enough for what they're going to do.
He's not that.
I don't
far
think
off
he's
from
James
old
Theo
isn't
either.
that young enough. Isn't that young?
I don't
either.
know. My vote is Henry Cavill all the way.
Theo James is 40. Henry Cavill is 41. There's no difference. So if it comes down to age, I don't think that's going to differentiate the two of them.
What can we do to get Henry Cavill in? Let's start a campaign of some sort. Henry Cavill for James Bond. I mean, he got his role ripped away from him
From
as
Witcher
Superman.
and
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah, he quit Witcher so that because he thought he was on Superman.
Yes.
And then we got a crappy Witcher, Liam Hemsworth.
I didn't watch any
No,
of
of
Witcher.
course not. I didn't watch the Leo or Liam Hemsworth one. No offense to him, but bad choice.
To be fair, though, Pierce Brosnan was James Bond, is always going to be James Bond.
Okay.
Daniel Craig has had some other good roles. He's always going to be James Bond.
Oh.
Theo James would always be James Bond.
Yeah.
He's had that type of a career where he doesn't have another defining role that's going to be like, oh no, was this, now he's James Bond. Henry Cavill, Superman.
Yeah.
He's never going to be James Bond. That's
Superman. Why it would be weird, I think,
Henry
if he was
Cavill.
James Bond, because he'd be playing two very iconic characters. And could he make them both different enough? You know, I don't know if Henry's that strong of an actor. No offense.
Oh my God, what?
But Theo James was in those Divergent movies before those tanked.
Yeah.
I don't think Theo James is a big enough star.
But that's the point.
I think
they want someone
that.
who just.
I think they want a brand new unknown, or not unknown, but someone who can really.
Jacob Elordi, is he British?
He's not.
I have A next to his name in my foreign
actor, or is he?
It's supposed to designate a country.
James
American.
Oh no, he's Australian. That's what the A is for.
Oh, yeah, if you all don't know, I'm sure you do because you're familiar with the channel, but she's got notebook pages full of notes.
Yeah.
I got it right here in the noggin, but she's got notebooks.
I can't remember all this stuff. I got to refer to notes. That's what it is. It's nothing. There's nothing cool about this.
And I will say the other part of the blind item is just a narrative that has been pushed a lot in the blind items that Aaron Taylor Johnson's wife basically runs his social media, dictates his entire life, doesn't allow him to do anything. And that's just ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
I think this is an ageism thing because she's older than him.
She
and
is.
Hollywood does not like that. They don't like an older woman with a younger guy who's a hot young star. They're like, ooh, why are you with that old hag? Which she isn't.
She's not. And she's very nice. I've interviewed her, not to name drop, but I have interviewed her for the Amy Winehouse Back to Black movie that she directed. And she was very nice. And she kept me there to keep talking. She was like, oh, ask that question. Don't worry about going over time. Keep asking, keep talking.
And people can find that on your YouTube channel.
Strip to the movies. Thank you.
Movies.
She also directed 50 Shades of Grey, which obviously had a ton of box office success.
And that was the better of those three movies.
Yeah.
And she directed her husband, Aaron, in the film adaptation of A Million Little Pieces, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. You see all of him in that movie. If we're going to go down that rabbit hole.
Nowhere Boy as well.
What's
they
it
did
called?
Together.
A Million Little Pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't just go.
Oh, wow.
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't even do that.
Let's get one more in here before we wrap up today. Rolling through these blind items. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's see how this one goes. Maybe the revelation was truly organic, but the mom of this former child star turned adult star is already pitching the idea for a new reality show featuring the star and her new love interest.
Oh.
Maybe the revelation was truly organic, but the mom of this former child star turned adult star is already pitching an idea of a new reality show featuring the star and their new love interest.
Is it a Dina Lohan?
No.
When you say adult star, do you mean
I went to Corn Star?
No, I'm sorry. No.
So just she's an adult and she's a star.
She was a child star.
Thank you.
And now as an adult, she's also a star.
Okay. Did she child star because of a reality show?
Yes.
It's the Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, Trish Cyrus.
Is it Kylie Jenner?
Nope.
Spender?
It's like if Timmy's on some reality show, they got to cut that cord. Child star, Tori
Okay, let me
Spelling.
look. Was she on Disney or Nickelodeon or no?
Nope.
Reality.
Is
it a housewife show?
Nope.
Okay. Is it a Honey Boo Boo?
No. We're getting closer.
We are?
It's
a TLC show?
I'm pretty sure it was a TLC show.
Dance Moms. Is it JoJo Siwa?
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the moment, and of course, we're talking about her on Big Brother UK.
Yep.
Okay.
And she recently opened up about the fact that I think it's Chris Hughes is the name of the guy that she's been hanging out with, enjoying her time. And she says she's maybe in a recent interview changed her letters, as she called it.
Oh, that's
She's
right.
no longer a lesbian. Yes. She says now she considers herself more queer because of this interaction. Now, She claims it was truly organic, just kind of happened. But according to the blind items, her mom is already pitching the idea of a reality show starring the two of them.
I don't like this.
What,
see.
of the dude in the house?
Of the dude in the
With her?
house and her, yeah.
This
Okay.
seems fake.
He just
not.
no
This seems
temporary.
I'm thinking even deeper about kind of homophobic, because if you like it's not to say that she can't be in a relationship with a man, but like it almost seems as if you're playing this Mickey Rourke thing as well.
Oh yeah.
And maybe wanting to go back in the closet, or you don't want that attention anymore. Ooh, that's dicey.
It's sticky, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching today to Blinded by the Item. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, or you can watch us on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. We're talking about your favorite show, Blinded by the Item. Bye.
Where talk is fun.
Blinded by the Item.